reason. Nobody feel about it if I be dealing. It's not a solution. Yeah. No respect, selfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that we feel happen like dark blue skies. I don't think that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice of opinion, not place of calling. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play around, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling is just so it no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice of opinion, not place of calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is just show my people. Believe our hopes, so to needless reason. Nobody feel about it, if I we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. No respect, selfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation.
Good morning and welcome to XTV WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It is Friday the 12th of April 2024. 6:34 a.m. here in studios. My name is Katie Numiashur and it is a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I hope you've rested well and are ready to take on this Big Bad Friday. Before we get into the show though, we have to give you the weather and the news. The news here is prepared by X News Desk and the weather report is prepared by the National Meteorological Service. This morning, our forecaster is Crystal Rosales.
Good morning. A weak cold front to the north of the country is supporting relatively moist conditions. The 24-hour forecast. Skies will be cloudy with sunny breaks today and then partly cloudy to cloudy tonight. A few showers will linger mostly offshore and along the coast this morning, becoming isolated by this afternoon. Then a few showers will redevelop along the coast and over some southern and central areas tonight. High temperatures for today will reach around 85 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 90 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 76 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Low temperatures for tonight will reach around 76 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 72 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 66 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the north to northeast at 5 to 15 knots and sea conditions will be choppy. High tides occur at 11:57 this morning and then at 1:53 tomorrow morning. Low tides at 7:42 tonight and then at 6:34 tomorrow morning. The moon will rise at 8:43 this morning and set at 10:30 tonight. Sunset is at 6:08 this evening and sunrise at 5:37 tomorrow morning. The extended forecast. A few showers or light rain will affect most places on Saturday. Then activity will decrease and become isolated over most places, with a few more lingering over the south on Saturday night. The fire forecast. Relatively moist conditions during the next few days will support a low to moderate risk for fires. And the sargassum update. The risk of sargassum affecting beaches across the country has been increased to medium as the latest satellite imagery show more mats approaching the area. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. Prime FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
The murder of a Belize Coast Guard officer on Wednesday night led to the allegation that police drove around with an injured 18-year-old Jalen Jones in the mobile rather than taking him immediately to the hospital. They claimed the delay was over an hour. Thursday morning, Police Commissioner Chester Williams provided information on the matter, beginning with the murder of Seaman Charles James, who was 26 years old. Everything unfolded at around 8 p.m. in the St. Martin, the poorest area of Belize City.
Police received information of shots fired on Consuelo Street in the St. Martin's, the poorest area. Upon arrival, police observed a male person who was later identified as a member of the Belize Coast Guard, suffering from gunshot injuries. He was transported to the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Police, in responding to the incident, encountered two men who were fleeing the crime scene at the particular moment. They first encountered a police officer who was off duty in plain clothes, and upon the police officer saying to them, "Police," they turned the weapon at the police, but did not fire, but the police fired at them, fearing for his life. He did fire at them. They continued fleeing, and little after that, they encountered another police officer who was on duty and was dressed in BDU, and this police officer came face to face with the two alleged gunmen, and they fired shots at the police. The police returned fire, and the two men continued to run. I can say the police officer uniform had bullet holes from the shooting, but thankfully he was not injured. Moments later, the police got information of a person who was seen bleeding at a particular location, and police responded, where they found one Jalen Jones, who was suffering from gunshot injury to the foot, and seemingly he had already gotten someone to assist him in tying the wound to prevent, to stop the bleeding. Police took custody of Jones, and from all indications, he was dressed in the same clothing that one of the two alleged gunmen were dressed in. And police also followed the blood trail from where the officers had fired shots at the gunmen, and the blood trail led to where he was found. So we are sure that he was one of those persons who is involved in the murder, and was also one of those who shot at the police.
Kumpal Williams says police were employing protocol to wait for an ambulance to take the injured person to the hospital. He clarified the injury was not life-threatening as Jones was shot to the foot.
As you know, there is a standing protocol that we do not transport injured persons to the hospital. The police only transport the dead. Injured persons are to be transported by the ambulance, and so the police officers had took the young man to the Mahogany station, awaiting the ambulance to arrive so that the ambulance could have transported him to the hospital. For me, I personally would not want for the police to have escorted him, for the main fact that he is the same one who had shot at the police, and secondly, it was the same police officers that he had shot at who had him in custody. So to avoid any speculations, I would have preferred the ambulance to take him. I saw a live last night where persons were going off and saying that the police had the man in the vehicle to bleed to death. Let me say the man's injuries was not life-threatening. The bleeding had stopped because they had tied it up with something, and the police were just waiting for the ambulance to come and take him. Seeing that the ambulance took too long, the police eventually took him to the hospital. But again, persons were flustered because they were not allowed to go near the police vehicle, and that could be for the simple fact that when you have a person who is accused of killing another in the same area, you won't want to have anybody approach the vehicle that he would be in, because what if it would have been associated with the person that he had killed, who would have wanted them to come and just kill him in the police vehicle. So police had to make sure that the accused was safe while in their care at that particular moment. If you go anywhere in the world, do you see the police take injured people to hospital? No. We're the only one who practice that nonsense in Belize. It's not the proper practice from a medical standpoint, and we are constantly being chastised by the medical practitioners for doing it, and it needs to come to an end.
As to James's murder, the Kumpal says they believe it was over a woman. James lived adjacent to the building where his girlfriend lives on the same street. One of the suspects lives across the canal about 2 blocks away. Jones's mother, Shirley Barrow, says they all used to hang out, but that her son was actually running away when the gunshots were fired. She said she saw him eating earlier at the house and later heard someone running into the yard, not realizing it was her son who had been injured. Because she was tending to children, she could not go after him and called her daughter to go on her behalf.
They called me back when she done reach now, and she said, "Ma, I can't get to her because I don't want to make her pass and thing. I don't know like it did. I don't know what happened to her and what she did say." Then I say, I end up to give my lead niece to my brother with me there, and I put on my clothes, I jump and I gone through there, and I run through there. So now, the whole neighborhood they rail up because they have in the yard this one whole amount of police circle around her, and they don't want to move her, right? And so I had to fight through there, the referee through there, like the bustle through there, hustle and bustle between me and my daughter, the fight through there to get to one thing, and I thought I holla for so he hear me, and I thought he said, Ma, they shot me, ma, that's why I said, please help me, son, please go to the hospital, officer, I'm current right now, that way he say, right, baby, he current right now, that way he say. And I thought I said, please help me. And they know son up there to watch me. So I end up to get away from there and I pop around there. And I thought I gone and I hold my son in my hand. And I asked my son, now who hurt him? My son said, Ma, he said, when that happened, ma, I don't know what happened. He said, everybody started to run. He said, he said, I get shot. I don't know who shot me that way. He didn't tell me, you don't know who shot her. Right? So when that don't happen, now the police ain't come fight her for me. And they pick up and put her in the shot back. Reverse the truck in the yard and put on the truck back with the real up for me current. And after that, the neighbors they tell me and my daughter go in the truck back with her thing like he young thing, right? So we get up and we go in the truck back with her and we drive. They drive out up on the Mahogany on the boulevard. By the time they reach by the stoplight, you know what they do? Make a U-turn, and then after that they turn back and gone the Lake High police station. With my son in the pan and my daughter, so my daughter they call the husband same time he come in the vehicle, right? We get out there now and I say, why when you do this car leave by the hospital, you don't get hurt already, you don't get longer, you know, when you need for carry, they don't say watch me and they don't care. When you know when they do they pepper spray we.
So when you did get to your son, you said you were holding him at some point, did you realize on what part of his body he was shot?
My foot, but I never know that the police ain't shoot her.
Thereafter, Burrows says police took Jones to the Raccoon Street police station and they followed him and had to wait again until police moved him once more. She says authorities are trying to pin the murder on him because the only charge he has against him is for the robbery of a bicycle. While she affirms police has no evidence against her son, the commissioner says they have sufficient evidence. Burrow also affirms that the police have been targeting him because of marijuana smoking. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams says the suspect in Wednesday night's murder of the Coast Guard seamen are from the PIV area of St. Martin the Porous in Belize City, and while the incident is not gang-related, the men are believed to be gang members. He affirmed that while PIV was not being targeted as part of the state of emergency, Wednesday night's incident changes things. He revealed that they started rounding up targets Wednesday night. The commissioner also says he will ask for an extension of the state of emergency that started on March 26th.
There are gang members who are involved in this particular killing. The suspects are from the PIV gang area, and you will know that when the SOE began, I had said that even though Martins was a part of the proclamation, we would not go after Martins because they were behaving. This have now changed that picture, and so certainly we will have to deal with those persons from the PIV, and they have to form part of the SOE. Again, I am pushing to see if we can have the SOE extended for the simple fact that we believe that some of these young men have still not really gotten the message, and we need more time to be able to properly investigate those persons who are under the SOE, and the 1 month period would not suffice. So I am seeking to see if we can get it extended for another month.
Postmortem for 46-year-old U.S. national Jennifer Griffith, who died in San Pedro over the weekend after a bar brawl, has now been concluded. Police Commissioner Chester Williams shared the results.
The pathologist certified that the lady died from a penetration to the head by a projectile. I also think that fragments of the conch shell was also found in her head. And so we can say definitively now that it was a conch shell that caused her death. The question now is who threw the conch shell that caused her death. And we have recorded a number of statements from persons who were involved in the fight, as well as other independent witnesses. And from the investigation, it appeared, or we can confirm from the investigation, that the person who threw the projectile that caused the death of the American woman is her husband. And so he will be charged today for manslaughter by negligence.
So he didn't mean to.
Yeah,
It was in the hole.
Yeah, he was throwing it indiscriminately, and then it caught her, and that led to her death. It's a very sad situation. I know that he must be going through a very, very difficult time now. He lost his wife, and now he has to be charged for it. For sure, he did not intend to, but in law there is a thing that is called transfer of malice.
So, did he admit to that?
No, he did not. No.
Has any security footage been reviewed?
There is none. No.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams yesterday confirmed that due to unmet requirements from the United States, ASP Roberto Novello, the commander of the Belize Police Department's anti-narcotics unit, had to leave his post, and a deputy in the unit, Francis Williams, has now taken over. The Compo, however, would not confirm yesterday it was because he failed a polygraph test.
The substantive commander, as you rightly said, was removed. We do have a MOU with the U.S. government, in particular the DEA, as it relates to the administration of ANU, where the commander and all members must undergo certain procedures every 3 years. And if you don't pass those procedures, then you are removed. And so the farmer, or the substantive commander, did not meet the requirements, and so he was removed, and the deputy commander is now the new commander.
He failed a lie detector test.
He did not meet the requirements.
That story brings us to the end of this XTV news report for Friday morning. Remember, there's more news on Creme Radio at 10 a.m. during the morning stew, a news package at 12:30, a news brief at 3, and a full news package in the evening at 5:15 p.m. Here on XTV, we have a full news package this evening for you at 6 p.m. It is 6:50 a.m. here in studios on this beautiful 12th of April 2024. We will take a short break now, but stay with us, because when we come back, we get into the Friday morning edition of XTV's WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports.
Skip the trip to the bank and perform cash withdrawals at your neighborhood store with Atla Express. Withdrawals are now free, and customers can withdraw up to $300 daily. All you need is your Atlantic Bank Visa debit card along with an ID. Atla Express is easy, convenient, secure, and near you. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribed areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
Good morning and welcome back to XTV WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It is 6:57 a.m. on this 12th of April 2024, a Friday. My name is Katie Numiasher and I'm now joined by Brother Noor Mohammed.
Yes.
Morning, how are you?
Greetings,
Good morning.
Greetings, yes, I'm good.
You're
good.
well?
Yeah, you know, sometimes you have challenges, but if you overcome those challenges, then you realize. I got some vehicle problem this morning. Nearly never make it.
Wow, but here you are.
Yeah, I am. Here
and
I
that
am.
shows the
Indeed.
glory and the wonderful things about, you know, you could have all kind of challenges in your life, but just know that you are never alone and you are always assisted. And sometimes when things don't work out, a lot of times rejection is God's protection. That's what I've been told. Or redirection, because sometimes this don't work, but something better work out for you. So that's good.
Yes.
We would love to hear how you're feeling this morning, what you're into, what's, you know, how your spirit feel, how your soul feel. And so the number for you to do that is 280-5848. Again, that number is 280-5848.
I'm glad you started off with what you started with, because I have a few things, some of which I left from yesterday because it was
whoa, yesterday was so spicy. Listen, I was in my Zoom session. I was in my Zoom session yesterday because some Tuesdays and Thursdays I do a Zoom.
Right, I know.
But I was like in my Zoom. I was also streaming XTVWB because you, David, and Mose Median yesterday.
It was powerful. If you missed
and then
that, go to Facebook and look on that.
Watch the whole thing.
That is very entertaining and educational. Very, very powerful show yesterday. But like I said, I have a few things that I wanted to mention this morning, which I will, God willing, a little bit later. But something interesting in the census, and then what you said this morning, in fact, is acknowledging God, acknowledging that He intervenes, and the very way that you put it, very succinct, but it was still acknowledging that there's a creator. And I would like this morning to provoke some calls on this issue.
Provoke, be the agent provocateur, by all means.
While they say, and they call it organized religion, I have a different definition of it myself. I always go through this. The fact is that one of the statistics that has doubled in the last 10 years are people who are not connected to any organized religion. It has been a significant growth, and I thought that, well, does this mean that we know to bring God in our life? Is it that we somehow feel, I'm not going to pose the question to you, I'm posing it.
Well, I think,
you know, is it that people are
I don't think we should go there that fast. I don't think we should go there that fast. There is organized religion, and there is how people live and how they experience life. And not because people might not be going to a mosque, a church, a temple, or a kingdom hall, doesn't mean to say, or a synagogue, that doesn't mean to say that they don't have a spiritual life, right? I mean, your spiritual life cannot be confined, or can be, but depends, cannot be confined to just, you know, mere statistics. I think it would be interesting to see, since we're talking about census, what these same organized religious, you know, entities are saying about their population or their congregation, or how they feel about that. So if you could tap in. We would love to hear from you. 280-5848. We could hear from the Christians. We could hear from the Muslims. We could hear from the Jews. We could hear from the Hindus.
Or we can hear from those people who have said to the census that, look, I know you know no religion. And in fact, it's not that you don't believe that there is a supreme being, clearly, as my sister is saying, but you somehow feel that, you know, they feel it in those who call themselves the organized, you know, somehow the authority on faith. And
I want to talk.
And then there are some people who are atheists, who don't believe there is any supreme being. They're completely into the maybe the science of life, and they say that I don't need that.
Yes. Well, for me personally, as I've shared, and I'll share again, I was raised Catholic. You know, I was raised in a Catholic household, and That's all I knew, and go to mass every single Sunday because that's how we used to roll. And even though I went to a government school in Belmopan, we did have the nuns come in and teach us catechism, right? We have catechism almost, not every day, but we had some days designated to that. And so I'm very well versed in that universe of Catholicism and what that does. As I grew older and we have history class, and I started to see what was the Catholic Church, and not just the Catholic Church, but many other organized religious institutions, make we just call them that, participation in enslavement. For me, it became a moral issue. It became a philosophical issue that I said, you know what, I don't know if I could continue to be a member of a Catholic Church congregation. But that's not to say, old habits die hard, or maybe the indoctrination is so steadfast that even though I know they're in the church no more and I go to mass every Sunday, I still believe in trying to be a good person, try to live a good life. I fully well understand that don't mean make nothing. I believe in a science, of course, and technology, but I know that when I walk the morning, when I does walk or very early in the morning, and I see the sky go from pitch black to all these colors to light, that there is a higher being that makes that possible. And that not me, that no man to do that. Nobody know to program that. I know that there is love and beauty in this world because I see parents with their children. I see how they're tender with them. I see sometimes even though they're frustrated and things not make it, I see how they provide for their kids. I see how people go over and beyond. And I said to myself, that shows me that they're not just about it's also about your love, your spirit, how you feel, what are your morals and what are your moral codes. So not because people have decided, or the census is saying that a lot of people have decided that they don't have a faith base, or maybe they're not connected to any organized religion. That's not to say that people not live godly, and I tried to tie it into the conversation that y'all had yesterday about some kind of moral decay that's happening in Belize. And my point was, well, I don't think we could talk about a loss of morality because we're talking about a formerly colonized country. We're talking about a country where at one time, it may very well and very part of the Belize Constitution, to enslave somebody will look like me, right? And all of that to say that there was a lot of discussion about that billboard near the school, and I absolutely agree that I don't think that, in fact, I will go further. I don't know if alcohol needs to even be advertised in Belize because that one product will sell itself. Whether or not ads happen or not, the alcohol will sell. That's something that never short of sales, right? That never is in threat of, oh wow, all the wine and rum up on the shelf and nobody know to purchase it. I fully agree that, those billboards no need for their wrong school, whether a cigarette ad or an alcohol ad. My issue, I think, with some of the points made yesterday is the woman's form. Now, I really specifically want to talk about women's bodies because I think the issue that some people they have, I think the issue that some people they have is that, whoa, look how you look. First of all, to talk about the billboard, I think that the billboard, the images are beautiful. And I'm conflicted because there is a history of using the other. So a big part of colonization is saying, I am the white European and you are the exotic other. Whether you are Asian, whether you're African, whether you're from the Americas, you are other. And other, and especially the female other, especially the black female other, has been used to sell products, to do things. We had a whole time where black women never had any ownership or agency over their body. We know about the medical history and how black women's bodies were used so that, gynecologists could do tests and figure out some of the things that we have now is just, there was unregulated and anesthetized black women who had to suffer experimental surgeries so that we could have certain gynecological surgeries that we have now. So the fact that a black woman in this time and age could decide how and if she wants to be represented, I think that her agency, I think she full well in her spirit to say, I want to show myself because I look good, I want to be on a huge billboard, Or she's full in her agency if say, you know what, my body that just see me, so I will just cover it up. And I think that we should be at a position where women, especially black women who we have a history of not having that agency, could start to decide that I will present myself how I choose, and we should respect that. That's just my thoughts on same, but I don't know what you think about that.
What I want to introduce this morning, and I'll try again. There is a statistic that is saying that a significant growth, and it started from 2010, of Belizeans moving away from organized religion, whether it is the Catholic Church. I won't focus on any specific church or particular religious orientation. The fact is, and it in a way goes with the issue of morality, but I would like to say, rather than go in the direction of discussion of morality, and I think that's a good and important discussion that we should have, it is clear that our people, and by the way, if you look at the statistics, particularly in the Western world, and we are part of that Western world,
are we?
This is a growth, very strong growth taking place, that people are moving away from organized, structured way of religion and moving into a realm, if they believe, called spirituality, where their morals and their behavior, they're treating people right, they're being honest in business, as you said, raising their children, etc. But they're not doing it on the basis that Father tell me so, or the Reverend tell me so, or the Imam tell me so, or the pastor tell me so. But I'm coming out of my own connection with something that I know is very real in the world. But if you ask me which church you go, you say, I don't go to no kind of church, which goes down in the statistic that there are less people now who are in fact connected. And it is important to recognize that when you compare 2010's census, where it was amazing, and it was a discussion at that time. Wow, there are a lot of people in Belize who are atheists, or people, well, they call them atheists at the time, but in fact, it is not atheism, which means that theist meaning belief in a God, and meaning I am not one that believes in this supreme creator, separate and apart from a person not wanting to be attached to a particular organized faith, but still having a deep understanding in themselves that I not just get here like this, and I got to have some kind of principles by which and by way of which I live, which people are referring nowadays as spirituality. So I just wanted to provoke that conversation. And if we don't get the call, it's all right.
Yeah, maybe they don't want to be so provoked.
Yeah, maybe. But,
in that regard.
But in that sense, it was just an amazing to me that, wow, Catholicism hasn't grown, Methodism hasn't grown, Seventh-day Adventists, I was very shocked, hasn't grown, but people who don't have any connection with any of those has grown. So it could very well mean that are we a people who are less morally inclined? Is it associated with the fact that we are seeing certain behaviors in our people that we didn't see before? And I heard you yesterday and today make reference to slavery. Certainly it's true. But I'm old enough to remember when Belize was a more conscious of good manners. Let's not even call it morals.
Okay.
Very much so.
Manners then, since that's
and people were a little bit more kind, and people were a little bit more sensitive than we are today. What's going on with that?
Well, we do have a call here. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. You're on the air. Except your audio.
Huh? What you say?
I don't know. So we had and lost that caller. If you want to call back, you're welcome to do so. The number is 280-5848. Again, that number is 280-5848.
And I know, Katie, I'm not provoking the conversation. Let's talk about what you want to talk about, because this is led by you more than us. But it was on my mind as I read the stats, and I said, that's interesting. This thing is growing. So what is it? Does anybody want to address it? Me know they say that you don't believe in something. And I know they say that you do what you do because you don't believe in something. I'm rather saying that there's some very good people out there, like you, Katie. You've just said to the nation that, look, raised a Catholic, had orientation with a Catholic, went to Catholic school and graduated from a Catholic institution. But you don't necessarily call yourself a Catholic, but you are a moral person.
Totally indoctrinated as far as, you know, I'm in the realm of saints, and sometimes when I do get in a pinch, I will, you know, if I lost something, I will say, oh, you know, Saint Anthony, help me out with this. Sorry, Carl, I saw you. Please call back. You know, if I am in trouble, I will definitely, you know, a hurricane season, of course, Guadalupe. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that not because I have left the church for philosophical reasons means to say that I have completely abandoned my thoughts on a moral code. I think what happened for me was that I couldn't understand the cognitive dissonance of having morality be at the fore, but also participating in that human trafficking, and also being silent when we have had so many cases of pedophilia in the Catholic Church. I couldn't contend with it. But then also I have to think as a Garifuna person, as a Creole person, that the Catholic Church taught and gave opportunities to the Garifuna of Belize. You have to think about that. I mean, in the colonial government, the British never made it do it. The British completely abandoned Garifuna people, and the Jesuits say, I will teach, you know, una become preachers, and let them get opportunities.
Yes, welcome.
Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
I see no reason to be surprised with the statistics. Well, at least that one. Well, we should be surprised with the amount of people we are, but anyway.
I don't think I was surprised. No, please let me correct you. I was not surprised. I saw a verification of what, let me say it, I saw a verification of what I have been observing, and the statistics verified what I was thinking, but I wasn't surprised. Anyway, proceed.
Well, yeah. And for years now, at least for the past 20 years, in this beloved country of mine, we have seen where individual choices are at the forefront. For example, we don't need to speak proper English because they still understand what I want to say. I don't need to write proper English because, well, you know what I want to say. I don't need, the child doesn't need to spell correctly because we still know what he wants to. I don't need to be dressed in a certain way that would, like the time you're calling about the uniforms in school. I don't need to dress in a certain way for make I get an education. I don't need for this, I don't need for that, I don't need for go to this, I don't need for do that. That has been a part of our piecemeal for the past 20, 25 years. Now, with regards to religion, as the young lady says, there's cases of pedophiles. I don't know of any religion, if you call it that, or cult, if you call it that, or congregation, if you want to call it that, or whatever name you want to give it. Because, likewise, you don't have to give it no name to make we understand what we're talking about. There's been cases of pedophilia throughout, every one of them. So that to me is not it's an argument towards not believing in any congregation. Catholic, Baptist, Nazarene, Anglican, Muslim, none. Because they have all have that. No, that one is a bit more prominent than the other, or one is brought up more times than the other. That's a different story. So in reality, we have society in the whole globally has practiced and nurtured that we don't have to do this to make somebody else think we do this and do that. We don't have to do nothing. So that is a fact, and that is how some may see it as lowering the standards, you know. But then having standards might be qualified in some sectors as being oppressed and being left out and being whatever. It's a whole hullabaloo. We need to do a new dictionary of vocabulary of what words may be used and may not be used, what are politically correct words, what are not, what may trigger an offense and what may not, etc., etc. Really piecemeal. This is like one real diet. But that's not what I call. I call for two main things.
Okay.
One with the traffic seatbelt, which I talked before about the Holy Saturday.
Right.
On your road, there's a checkpoint just before you reach the corner of Victoria Street. And they ask me for my license. And then the police explained to me that soon they will be enforcing, this was a couple of days ago, enforcing the seatbelt. You know, mommy, if you don't have a seatbelt, you could get fined and you could go to jail and ta. Right next to me on that bump, right next to me, you know, one motorcycle passed, picked me up front, man the drive, picked me between man and woman, and one next picked me up back. And I told the policeman, I said, but look at that. You know what I was told? But mommy, they have to carry and pick me at school.
Right.
That's what they said.
So practically they tell me, well, I mean, well, you know what, they carry and pick me at school if what they got, well, what they have for riding now. So there's no law against that.
Well,
no helmet, when they pick me up. No helmet when it picked me in the middle, and no helmet when it picked me in the back.
There are no seatbelts on motorbikes, though, we will admit. So, I will agree with you on the helmets.
But I don't know if they've changed the criteria and definition of a motorcycle. It's supposed to be 2 persons on a motorbike, not 5.
Okay.
So unless they've changed it and say that, you know, there's a picture of one in Africa, I don't remember what country in Africa, where we count like about 10 people on one motorcycle.
Right.
And again, the definition is that as much as you could fit, fine. But in a car, if the car says 5 persons and I got 7, that is not allowed. It is not allowed. You know why? First now, because of the rule, if a car is made for 5 persons, you know I come with no bloody 7 seat belts. So you can't have 7 in your car, even if they could fit, because there are 2 of them don't have seat belts. But yet, I want to know what they are calling on the authorities to please give me a definition of how many people can be on a motorcycle. Please, no.
Can I comment on that before you go to your next point?
Yeah.
All right. That's a very difficult thing for developing countries. If you remember, and I'm pretty sure you remember, before we were so overwhelmed with motorcycles, it was bicycle that people used to have them picnic on bicycle. And when stop and say, how else am I get on the school? Me no got car like you know.
Right.
I have to get on the school. So the bicycle became the poor man car. Now we've advanced up to motorcycle. We can't afford one car.
Right.
We have to get the children to school.
And public transportation remains a mess.
And then we're in problems when it comes to public transportation. And so the authorities, and I know they justify it, because it's a very dangerous thing if we get a massive collision, everybody can get hurt. Many of them children might even die. So sometimes societies wait until there's a tragedy and then they come down with all kind of draconian things to say that can't be again. But I'm saying I'm agreeing with you in this sense that we have a lot of contradictions like that. For example, yesterday I did on the road. Do you know the amount of people I see still ride on the edge at the pan of the truck when they had said you're supposed to sit down in at the pan of the truck?
Or you don't belong in at the pan of the truck,
yes,
period.
at all. No, they got man, they carry their workman to work, and they put their workman in there because they can't afford one bus separate like Santander or like BSI or BEL or one of them for put them people in our air-conditioned vehicles to get their workers, so they put their workers in at the back. And the system have to say, well, how do I deprive these people of an opportunity to get out and earn their living or to get their children to school? So it's a very difficult situation to administrate. But I agree with you. You try to take the beam out of my eye. At the same time, you got a moat in yours. So I understand that.
Well, it's not about affecting me personally or the...
No, but you're making a social comment that I'm sure a lot of people are watching that.
Because they're selling the seatbelts as a safety measure.
Yeah.
So now, if they define it and say, we request that the people that are in a car that has a body of metal that already gives you a certain level of protection, we are saying they still need. Imagine how vulnerable are the kids and so on bicycles. And I do remember Marie, I'm a 1950s person. I do remember the bicycles, but the traffic wasn't like that. Like it is now.
Exactly.
So things change. But then give me a good bloody definition of what it is you want. Because you can't tell people, oh, what I would have car, you don't need to have seat belt, or we're going to change the 6 months, but that one needs to carry the
All right, I want to challenge you, Carl. I want to challenge you. You are the Minister of Transport. You're sitting in at the cabinet. Where you want to recommend that the cabinet do to correct that situation? I know you're making it very clear, and I think a lot of people agree with you, the contradiction is there. What would you, today, 2024, sitting in the cabinet, as the Minister of Transport, what are you going to recommend that be done to correct that problem?
Well, first, he has to admit that there is a problem and there is a contradiction.
There is a problem. We know the problem. Now, what would you suggest as a suggestion to change that? What would you suggest?
Dude, I in the city, for example, you cannot drive in Belize City at more than 20 miles an hour. I don't see why the seatbelt is necessary in the cities. You can't drive more than 20 miles an hour in the city. In the highways, it has to be enforced. Nobody pan. As a matter of fact, years ago, there was a problem with a social security claim of people behind a pickup, and there was a big thing with the social security saying practically, no, we don't have to pay. I don't know how it ended. So let me use a word that is being used.
You're still describing the problem. I'm asking you, what is the solution that you would make to get the government to react to correct the problem? I know what the problem is, and there are multiple problems. Yesterday, Habet, the Minister of Sustainable...
was in an RTA.
He said that the seatbelt saved a life.
Right.
You see? So we know that there is a problem. I'm only asking, I'm provoking you only because...
I just said that in the highways you do need a seatbelt.
I'm talking about the motorcycle and the children on the motorcycle. What would you say? Do we ban them?
When I put in the school bus, man, let them do runs if the school needs to get to. Put one school bus at St. Martin, put one at Port back there, put one at Queen Square back there, and take up to pick them with their children with motorcycle. Oh, but then that requires investment. Maybe that's a good thing that Mr. Martinez could say, you know, this country, we don't leave it to people, and we got a lot of people to go to school, but we don't have no school bus, and then maybe we'll get a bunch of school bus.
Well, I don't know about the buses, because as somebody who uses public transportation to get to work and everywhere else, if they can't deal with regular public transportation to get just people where they purchase, commuters and students to school, and I say how they will on top of that implement school buses, because as you know, as somebody who travels, the buses that we use are just tired U.S. school district buses that are no longer in service. They repaint them and then we use them as public transportation in the days. So I think the wider issue is that public transportation is a mess. It needs to be addressed.
I understand what you're saying. It seems that it needs a little bit, it requires a little bit more talent. Anyway.
Yeah, but some of those children on the motorcycle are preschool children. I'm not sure you want to put a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old on the bus by itself. That is a different situation. Yeah, some of the mothers look like I could see baby almost suckling babies in between the mat and the park on the motorcycle. So I'm not sure that simply putting more buses out there. No, but the park, for example, I'll give you an American solution. You will not be permitted on an American highway, street, or anything to ride 3-4 power motorcycle. So should we get as draconian as that? That's the question I'm asking you. What do we say to the cabinet? That look, we see the statistics of death, and so we don't allow that, then people, the rule move too fast, and so we don't do it. By the way, in America, the rule is as soon as you get in the car, okay, if you to go funeral, you cannot go without the seatbelt, and if they catch you, the ride at 10 minutes, you're going to get in trouble.
But this is a wonderful conversation. I want to thank you for your contribution. We are on the precipice of that break, though.
But you could call back.
Okay.
All right,
thank you very much.
So much. So we do have 2 Cents Cam this morning. 2 Cents Cam, as you know, is sponsored by Fort Point Security. We want to thank them for sponsoring our 2 Cents Cam. And if you want to do so, you're more than welcome to do so. But big respect and big up to 2 Cents to Fort Point Security for sponsoring our 2 Cents Cam. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do a break, and then when we come back, we have a really exciting segment for you because today is Garifuna Survival Day.
Alright, you're watching WB for XTV and the Big Up Friday.
Why you think the tacos? Why you think my tacos Cuban tacos?
Cuban tacos.
It's nice or not nice?
Nice.
What do you think?
Nice. Big Up Friday.
Big Up Friday. Don't forget, okay? Big Up. Hello.
Who you want big up?
This is Cuban tacos.
Big Up.
Big Up.
Friday.
Friday.
Big Up.
Big Up.
Friday.
Friday. Cuban tacos. Okay?
Big Up Friday, who you want big up?
Big up my old lady, Agnes Tunes. Big up my old boy, my Canarales, my lady Sherika Hume, so the kids them. I can't call it a name, I call it too much today.
Well, big up Dr. Glenn Espada, St. Catherine's Dental Clinic, and big up myself. Big up my old lady at Ladyville. XTV, Brick City. Yes, man, everything blessed.
Yeah, I want to big up all the athletes, especially the ones that just came back with gold medal and bronze medal. I want to big them up big time. I don't think we're big them up big enough.
Who you want big up?
Big up my original friend first. You know what I say? Brick City. You know what I say? Big up Ja, Champion Papi. All right, big up Karim Musa and everybody.
That you big up.
That's my big up for the day.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
Your personal online banking experience is about to get even better. Introducing the new Personal Atlantic Online. Reimagine and redesign. But that's not all. Something great is coming your way. Bank your way with any of our digital channels and save time for what matters most.
For 19 years, SMART has been the pulse of our nation. A journey of growth, innovation, resilience, and unity.
From the first call that bridged distances to the data that brought us closer than ever, SMART has been there, weaving threads of connection across our beautiful land.
We have been active in providing innovative solutions to enhance our customers' lifestyles. Over the years, SMART has developed and provided various services to meet customers' needs.
To the dreamers, doers, and the believers, thank you for making SMART a part of your story. For 19 years of trust, loyalty, partnership, and shared experiences.
As we celebrate 19 years of connecting lives and dreams, let's keep the rhythm alive. Together, let's continue to shape our future one connection at a time.
Come and be a part of the SMART family, where we empower you and our country today, tomorrow, and beyond.
SMART, bringing people together.
And today we're here shopping at B-Mart. Today we're making the green super smoothie. Let's get after it.
Belizeans all around planet Earth, this is a roll call. A roll call for all Belizeans living abroad. In a world that is becoming more uncertain and unstable, children and descendants of the Belizean soil must find common ground and align. Mark the date and make your plans. June 19th to June 22nd, 2024 at the Marriott Airport Hotel, Los Angeles, California. It's the historic first ever Belize Diaspora Summit. This summit will feature panel discussions featuring leading diaspora leaders and achievers. The Belize America Chamber of Commerce will host its annual business forum. There is a special delegation from the Ministry of Natural Resources to facilitate land queries for those in the diaspora, and a grand gala event to cap the Belize Diaspora Summit 2024. For registration and for more details, email info@BelizeDiasporaSummit.com or BIF 2024 California.eventbrite.com.
Wow.
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Bring
Roots
me
in
in.
there.
Wait to be nafi. All right, we are back. Today is Garifuna Survival Day. And as you have heard, as you have seen, if you're watching or streaming, we have representatives from the National Garifuna Council Belize City branch. We also have musicians, like it's turned up in here. We did a XTV. You are watching, listening, and or streaming XTV, WB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. My name is Katie Numiosher. I'm here with Brother Nur Muhammad, and I have no stranger to our set, no stranger to Lekai, because we're always there. I have Brother Sebastian Cayetano. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes,
Rafael
the elder.
Martinez, the elder, the wisdom. We have Rafael Martinez, who is the new president of the National Garifuna Council. Congratulations. Welcome. Macho Martinez of the Ogundani Dance Troupe. No stranger to nothing. Nurse as well.
Yes. Help.
Icon in this community. Right? We have Brother Arzu on the guitar. We go with a beautiful Amuniego. I pronounce it wrong. Amieg. Amieg is in times to come, right? And it's very important. It's a poem by our ancestor, our beloved Andy Palacio. He was trying to warn us and trying to tell us to listen. We got to keep this language going. We also have Rojo on the drums. And the next young brother, your name? You the Arzu too? This is an nepotism, yeah? No, this is a family. This is a family. And we have a sister. Sister, your name? Arzu Miranda. Okay, all right. So if you had any wonder, Arzu they both, then they in at the building, then they full represent this morning. Arzu with there with on that note, I want to say very good morning to my cousin Elmar Arzu there in Belmopan. If you're there at Belmopan, I don't know if you're there at Fern, if you're there at Belmopan, but good morning to you and your entire family. It's such a pleasure to have you here. We have a lot to talk about. It's very significant that we started, and I want to thank our musicians for starting with Amieg, because in times to come, the year right now, and Brother Sebastian, you could talk to us a bit about that.
Yes, the time to come is already here.
Right.
Sorry to say. Okay, but today is a very special day for us Garinago throughout the world, especially we Garinago in Central America. Today was the day after traveling for 30 days at sea. Since the 11th of March 1797, we stayed 30 days at sea, coming from Baliso, Baliso, St. Vincent, all the way to Roatan, Honduras. This was the day we arrived in Honduras, 12th April 1797, having spent 30 days at sea.
Wow.
During that voyage, there were 2,500 who boarded the ship in Baliso. During the journey, 500 died. So barely about 2,000 actually landed in Roatan, Honduras on this day. Yes, and even before that, we were exiled because Chatui had been killed by the British on the island of St. Vincent, 14th March 1795.
And why was Chatui killed?
Oh, because he was the leader, paramount chief, commander-in-chief of the Garinago, and he was defending our people. Yes.
Fighting against the British.
Fighting against. He was a freedom fighter,
right,
fighting for freedom,
yes,
and our liberty, against enslavement.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
So following his death, the British rounded up 5,000 Garinago men, women, and children, and banished us to Balisao, about 15 miles out of St. Vincent. They left us there for 6 months, October 1796 to March 11, 1797. After that, March 11, we were boarded onto 11 British warships and taken across the Caribbean from Balisao with a 1 week stopover in Jamaica, finally to Roatan, Honduras.
Genocide is what
That's genocide,
Right,
yes.
that's the word.
And in
That's
our
the word.
reparation, we are demanding genocide.
Reparation, absolutely, absolutely. President?
Well, I just want to reiterate what Brother Sab Kaitan had mentioned just a while ago, because we, despite what they did to us 227 years ago, we survived. We did not only survive, but we thrived. So we're here in full force, and it's such a pity that in St. Vincent, our homeland, Yorume, it was outlawed really to look like, talk like, act, beating drums, whatever reminded the authorities, the colonizers of the Garifuna people was disbanded, was outlawed.
Punishable by death.
By
which is
death.
Serious. Right.
So they resisted, although we have quite a few Belizeans who went to St. Vincent trying to retrieve our Garifuna culture. They initially resisted. Their own culture was alien to them because it was so colonized, it was so indoctrinated, it was so brainwashed, it was so conditioned to believe that this is totally devoid, this is not part of them. So happily, there's a little silver lining behind that dark cloud, that today they're very much receptive. They're now finding their roots. They're finding that, you know what, we are the one people. As a matter of fact, I want to dare to say that the Creole and the Garifuna people, we share the same common ancestry. We share the same West African DNA. So I want to jump into something that we're actually doing a bit
Can we
later
also
on.
give thanks to Zoila Ellis, who did a significant
Oh,
amount
yes.
of work in
St.
reviving
Vincent.
in St. Vincent.
Exactly. Zoila, big up to you, Zoila. So we want to talk about our activities a bit later on. I'll give Brother Matthew. As a matter of fact, as you rightly mentioned, Katie, we had a new executive recently. Myself, I'm honored to be elected the president of the Belize City Branch National Garifuna Council. And
congratulations on that.
Thank you very much,
Kind
my
of a cousin
dearest.
too, you know, that's why they are
You got that right?
Listen, one thing I never you know.
Exactly.
Very possible that they're family the top right?
And then
And we're a community. It's very important. That's how we survive.
Yes.
That's how we survive, is that we have to remain in community, because when you get cut off by the colonial government, when you're left to your own devices and defenses, who you have that your family, your cousin, your neighbor, that was very, very important.
And to confirm what you're saying, the Garifuna belief motto is, Aobu Amorinu. I for you and you for me.
That's right. And you
It's
can
a
find
Garifuna
more
way.
that at the Luba Museum if you're there. Right, Fern. All right.
All right, so basically, I just want to big up our executive, but Brother Matt will actually tell us about the activities a bit later on this evening.
Okay, Beke Benafi Hong Song Agamba Hatia. Good morning to everyone. Awahaya, Lobadna National Garifuna Council Ya Uburu Balisi, Luwayanuha, Luwago Wafagu, Luwago Ge Wayanuha, Luwago Idalian La, Abagaredo, Garinogo, Larigi, Biansa Atiri Irum, Ya. Lobogo Balis, Ya Lobogo Meriga. Yedemet. I am saying we are here on behalf of the National Garifuna Council Belize City Branch. We are here to discuss and to share some information relating to the Garifuna survival after 227 years on the mainland of Central America, or the Americas itself. We know that we were exiled on the barren island of Balisao, rock, mountain, nothing to grow, no water to drink except water from the sea.
Which is dangerous.
Very
if you
much.
don't desalinate the water, that can get you very ill.
Yes.
Right.
So, but we are here today to justify that we survived massacre. We
Yep.
survived
Genocide.
genocide. We survived colonialism.
Yes.
And we also want to ensure that we share this moment, likewise, not only as Garinogo, but as indigenous population, indigenous people throughout the world, likewise, people of color, African descendant, because most of us throughout the ages were colonized at one point in time. And likewise, genocide was also the name of the game during that time.
That's right.
So all of us share some common experience, all right, as it relates to the colonization and likewise survival, because we have been surviving, we are surviving today as people of color, African descendants, indigenous population. All right, so we should share together in this experience, the 12th of April, because we all have that common experience. Nobody cannot run away from it, not a single one. As like, for instance, some historians and likewise some anthropologists would also want to say that there is no race that is a pure race. We've all been mixed because we've been all moved across oceans, all right? So we are mixed. So I have something in me that may be from your particular race that you may want to say. So all of us. So I think we should share this together, all right? And
can I just because of what you're saying, the fact is that there is a call for reparations.
Right. Exactly so.
And that call for reparations is from a group of people, also human beings, that systematically did this to us, did this to Native Americans, did this to all people coming out of Africa, India, etc. So they, the Europeans, owe a lot of reparations. They have only paid reparations to the Jews, they've paid it to the Germans, but they have never accepted the genocidal pattern that, and you're describing it very, very carefully right here now, brother. So we all should band together and demand reparations for what they have done to us.
Yep.
So what are the activities? What can we look forward to this evening? What are we doing? What's the plan?
Okay, so today at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. at the Swift Hall.
Right
here
here,
at St. Martin's.
right
St. Martin's area, right around the corner.
Right.
All right. The National Garifuna Council Belize City Branch will be hosting an event, and that will include music, singing, dancing, and likewise, on a serious note, we'll also have a panel discussion.
Oh, good.
All right, and that panel discussion will include Mr. Sebastian Cayetano, the great teacher.
Yes, indeed.
The director of the Luba Museum.
Exactly. And Mrs. Myrtle Palacio, who is also another stalwart.
Right, anthropologist,
Garifuna
statistician. Now that with the
Yes.
tax census, that's a
Exactly.
statistician.
All right.
Morning, Miss Myrtle.
And Mrs. Lucy Zuniga.
My
All right?
teacher.
So,
My teacher over there. Okay.
Right.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I saw the draw the full Becker icons.
Exactly
I like
so.
that. I like
I want
that.
to find out, since this is the Belize branch, is this taking place in every other area
Municipality,
of Belize?
right.
Every other Garifuna community.
So they also will be having
their
activities.
And what some of them have started their activities from
Already?
within the earlier in the week. Some have started different activities too until
Wonderful.
today. All right, and they will it will be today will be the culmination of
Right.
all right, the celebration of that. And please, yes, it is a celebration, but a celebration not exactly to jump up and different, but it is a celebration to remind us of what took place with the colonizers and where we are today as a people, as Garinogo, as black people within the society,
Americas,
as
right.
indigenous population throughout the world.
Very important, because these are the conversations that we're having now It's very, very, it is a time, right? Right now we're dealing with territorial dispute. Right now we're dealing with indigenous land rights issues. Right now we're dealing with culture. We're dealing with reparations to people who are formerly enslaved. So I think this conversation is happening at the right time. But you know, our ancestors don't play about us. They make sure everything that time when it's supposed to happen, not when we're ready for it, but when they're ready for it. And so I'm really grateful to have our elders here. I'm really grateful to have the National Garifuna Council, and I want to invite you to see how you can support the work that is done here, how you can support the artists, how you can support the musicians. We have a responsibility to our ancestors. We have a responsibility to the future that will come, that we preserve our culture, right? Survival, to me, the name is deep. Garifuna survival, it depends on us. So I want to thank you for coming here. And I thank you for coming first,
I want to ask Brother Kai, before we go and perhaps hear one more selection, that, I don't want to go without the drums. Come in with the drums and go.
Okay, that's
so we used to communicate, you know.
Right. The talking drums, right?
But they just come up with internet, but we made the internet long ago, all right. But listen, we know about the celebration of the 19th, the work of T.V. Ramos. How does the Survival Day connect? Will this be an advocacy for another day to be nationally recognized by the country of Belize for the contribution of the Garifuna?
Well, to me, we are exercising our rights as citizens of Belize and Central America. We are part of the Central American milieu that includes Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. Yes. Panama. Yes.
Very good.
So we need to highlight this day as we are part of it.
I want to jump on that as well, because I think Belize, probably we're in the world, Guinness World Book of Records when it comes to holidays. So I believe
we should be. If we are, we should be.
I think it's time for us to work. It's good to commemorate a day, but you can't every day you can't just jump and say, hold on, let this be a holiday. But I want to invite everybody to come out to our first event.
Right.
And
this is a free event, right?
It's a free event. It's for everybody. Come out at Swift this evening at 6:30. We have foods, we have drinks, we have music, and we have, of course, enlightening conversation. Having said that, the National Garifuna Council Belize City branch is a bit, in my humble opinion, like up north and west. We share some commonalities in the sense that quite a few of us are mixed with other ethnic groups. More so that we now have over 51% of the population being mestizos, and a few years ago we were 7% as Garifuna. And with the latest census, we're now 4%. So it's now very incumbent on us to actually share this culture.
Right.
I was very elated, I was very happy that yesterday there was a launching of the Garifuna Language in Schools program. And I want to big up the NJC, I want to big up the Battle of the Drums Secretariat for such a very, very momentous, such a milestone, that now my children who are half Creole could learn Garifuna language. And it's very, very much common in Belize City, where most of us, as a matter of fact, when I was growing up going to Belize Technical College, I was the only Garifuna in my class. So eventually married to a Creole girl. So we have now...
Good morning to that beautiful Creole woman. Morning, Mrs. Martinez.
So now we have a chance to retrieve what was lost.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the good things. And then, of course, not only retrieve it with the Garifuna people, but teach it to other people. So the language can live. In the words of Andy Palacio, lest we lose it.
Exactly.
Right. I could not have said that better, because that's why you're president. Right. So, that time, because we got it music and then we're going to break, so we got it going on. And remember, Swift Hall this evening, 6:30. It's free. Be there. If you're not there, you're not there, no way. Right.
Everybody in
there. That is for our no. All right.
Skip the trip to the bank and perform cash withdrawals at your neighborhood store with Atla Express. Withdrawals are now free, and customers can withdraw up to $300 daily. All you need is your Atlantic Bank Visa debit card along with an ID. Atla Express is easy, convenient, secure, and near you. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
When you get your prescription, what are the best place to go?
Freetown Drugstore.
Bam City. When the drugstore then close up the night and on Sunday and holidays, which one open?
Freetown Drugstore.
Bam City. When you need somebody to talk to about your medication, who Inga tonto.
Bam City.
We have been serving the general public for more than 30 years with fast, professional, and efficient services. We will continue doing so with honesty, integrity, and consistency.
This is the loyal Freetown Drugstore crew, always happily serving the general public at 28 Freetown Road, Belize City. Telephone 223-2876.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
Welcome to Design Depot, home of tiles from around the world. Design Depot's tile gallery selection includes some of the latest styles in ceramic, porcelain, marble, natural stone, and glass tiles, transforming your indoor and outdoor tile projects. Designing your space has never been easier with our wide selection of high-quality tiles, expert staff, and world-class customer service. If you can envision it, we can help make it happen. Available at Design Depot, all in one place.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribe areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
Welcome back to XTV. I know, as exciting as those drums and guitar, but it is wonderful to have you here. It is Friday, the 12th of April, 2024. It's 8:15 a.m. here in studios. My name is Katie Numiosher. I'm here with Brother Nuru Mohammed, and we are joined now by representatives from the Belize Fishers Federation, the Federation of Belizean Fishers. See, I'm mixed up, but who's not mixed up? We have Brother George Maivik here. We also have Brother Martinez, and we are talking about the serious issues of fisheries in Belize, the state of fish in Belize, and policy. Because you have a call of action. By the way, the mandala is out for this Friday. If you haven't got your paper, you get your paper wherever you get your paper. But last week Friday, you had a call to action. So Nigel Martinez, you are the director, right, if I'm not mistaken, of the Belize Federation of Fishers, and you were asking, you had a big signing, and it was in the paper last week Friday. So I want you to, tell our guests a bit more about it. And of course, we're always happy when you have the scientists and teacher here, because we get the stats. Because everybody talk about statistics right now because of census time.
We get the stats and then some.
And then some.
Yeah.
We get the real statistics because sometimes we know that numbers can be,
juggle.
I don't want to make any aspersions or accusations, but sometimes we know numbers could look funny and different. So here we are. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome, welcome.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Katie. Good morning, Brother Nuri.
Yes,
good morning, Belize. Thank God it's Friday.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good morning, Belize. Well, last when we were on the show,
right,
we kind of highlighted some of the challenges and the difficulties we were facing, primarily because we have seen where millions, hundreds of millions have come into the country for conservation, and no one was really addressing the social pillar of sustainability, which was in fact having a serious impact on the livelihood and well-being of our fisher folks across this country. So we had partnered with the Summit Foundation, and we have been doing a series of workshops, bringing awareness to the fishers and their community on the stock assessment and the status of our fishery. So that led us to develop two documents. One, a code of conduct for responsible fishing.
Right.
And two, a call for action. So over the last month or so, we have been extremely busy meeting with our executive association leaders and representative of the different communities who represent the fishers, and we were putting together this code of conduct for responsible fishing. And it was very educating because the guys recognize, based on what they have been seeing over years,
right,
in reference to the stock and the marine environment, and how serious and committed they were for us to develop this code of conduct specifically for our fishers, for them to show the government that this is a testament to our commitment to conservation. And while we did so, we also want them to recognize that while we are pledging our part of the deal, we also want to hold them accountable. And we want them to pledge their support for us in terms of our livelihood and our well-being. Because as you are aware, this blue bond that was developed did not have the fishers in mind. And I repeat that the minister had said categorically that he would have thought that the development of that blue bond agreement would have incorporated the livelihood and well-being of fishers. Should have. And it did not. And he went on to say that he hoped moving forward that there would be some consideration to complement that agreement. That has not been the case. Just recently, the Belize Funds for Sustainable Future has again giving out millions of dollars to the conservation community, and no one is looking at the social implication, the poverty when we go into these fishing communities, the poverty of these fisher
No
folks.
one except the Belize Federation of Fishers, though.
Correct.
Because what I like about what you have been platforming, both of you, your entire federation, is that the fisher folk are committed to conservation, because many times in the conservation conversation we get caught up in there's conservation and then there are fishermen where they run afoul of conservation practices. So I want you to, whichever one want to tap in, talk about how, you know, one, yes, we know and it's foul, and I'm glad that we address it. Fisher folk, but a huge part of why we're here, have been excluded, but also to fisher folk are committed to conservation.
Yeah,
believe it or not. I mean, no make no more spill you.
And lobster season, they stop during conch season.
Right. But it's always the way, even the way it's touted, even sometimes in the media, is that, oh, the fisherman and the fisherwomen, the fisher folk, if I can say, then they fish out, then they take small stocks, and then we know they get to, that is a symptom. That's not a problem. That's a symptom of a wider issue. So I want you to tell us about what some of these wider issues are, how fisher folk are. Basically, we need to change the narrative, because it looks like fisher folk versus conservation, and that's not the case. So I want to talk to our audience a bit about that.
Well, if I may, the word conservation means different things to different persons and different parties. The most apt descriptor of conservation that I have found came from one of my professors at UWI. And effectively he said that conservation means the wise use of resource.
Absolutely.
And that in and of itself includes the extractive use as well as the setting aside of habitats and species.
Hence the code of conduct.
Hence the code of conduct. So, you know, I want to say that, as you mentioned, that the caption code of conduct is not an original concept of the BFF. There has been a code of conduct that has been promulgated and signed on to by various nations, including Belize. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has forged a code of conduct.
Okay.
The way that one works is that governments that have signed on have effectively, in some instances, internalized and implemented.
Will it teach me?
Well, yes.
Is Belize a signatory to
Belize is a signatory. It's embedded in principle in laws and in policy. This code of conduct that the BFF has effected comes from the resource users. This, in my view, certainly in the context of the Caribbean, is novel. I think that we're at the forefront of saying that resource users are also responsible.
Amen.
You know, just before we came on, there was obviously the talk of indigenous people, and there was a talk of, well, inferentially, the issue of, you know, we have to take control. And I would say to you that as a man from the country and a man from the West, my father used to be a hunter.
Okay.
And I can recall at the time that I grew up, he used to bag a deer every weekend. But he felt that there's a point that you would not go beyond. Even if you see 3 deers in the woods, you shoot one.
Yeah, you don't bring all 3.
Right. You know, so there was a concept in him that, you know, this has to go on to future generation. And I would say to you that what I have seen in my years at fishers, especially the older fishers to this day, they will throw back the small fishes.
Right.
The older fishers will not basically take undersized lobsters.
And they won't overfish.
And this is almost a conscience that is built in. And so, in a sense, you don't have to you don't need a code of conduct for certain people. But
because you're saying certain people are already, you know, intuitively and instinctively they are operating at a code of conduct already.
Yes, they are.
You are saying, well, we try this, we try get everybody with a fisher folk for they operate on the same level where we understand these resources are how we live, these resources are how, you know, we could say a healthy environment. Because they are indicators. When you lose species, the signs are bigger problems, you know. Signs are way bigger problems.
It
and sometimes, you know, like it's closer than we think as far as how close the problem that we or how far.
It definitely is. And really the loss of species in the context of fisheries has various implications. Fish and fishery product is important in terms of food security. If you lose species, then you lose opportunities, both in terms of nutritional security and food security, because nutritional security speaks to the issue of balanced diet. Food security speaks to the issue of, do you have enough? So you could be eating enough, but not the right things. And we know that fish protein is especially valuable because it has certain, remember your building blocks, teacher, protein. The fish protein has certain amino acids that you will not find any other place.
Any other,
And so when you look, for example, one of the things that comes out of the pharmaceutical community and the medical community is take your fish oil tablet.
Oh, no, remember the tech
But I want to say,
and liver oil tablets every day. Ooh, I remember that good for true.
Right?
And then you belch and you taste it every single time for the rest of the day. The rest of the day, that fish oil, the cod liver oil in the pan.
I want to hand over to Nigel just before I say that both the call to action.
Can you entertain a call?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. We're here with the Belize Federation of Fishers, as you know.
Good morning, Miss Kitty.
Morning, morning, morning.
I'm calling to.
Penny? Copy?
Yes.
All right, make we hear you.
To say happy Garrison Survival Day.
Thank you, my brother.
And every Garrison person in our country and in the diaspora. And I want to implore them, especially those who are leaders of groups in our country, to ignite or kindle that spark of collaboration and cooperation and unity, because there are still some groups that don't want to unify. So we want them to come together, especially if we want to enjoy this survival, or we want not only survive, but we want to thrive in this country.
Exactly.
And so I am calling on everybody to see how we can ignite that spark. Miss, and I want to see here as the Vice President of Penny NGC, I am starting the initiative to make that happen. And I want to invite everybody in and across Port Maguire and the Toledo District to reach out to the Central Park this evening at 6 p.m. where the Battle of the Drums will be having activities in honor of Garifuna Survival Day. But Miss, I also want to speak about buying fish in PG. Man under the Honorable Michael Spot, when he was the Minister of Fisheries, Agriculture and Fisheries, our fish did not cast the spread, and our fish, Miss, was sold to us without the guts, because we can't eat the guts, man. When we buy it right now, even the guts with the paper. So we want the Ministry of Agriculture to reopen that page that Honorable Michael Spot had, where our fishermen and women sold fish without the gut. And we also had during that time individuals from the Ministry of Fishes going around checking that we are not being sold undersized fish. Because during that time, fish had to have a certain size. But we noticed that anybody and everybody sell any kind of fish.
So you're saying currently, if I'm understanding well what you're saying currently, yes, we got the issue of the guts in, but you are saying that there is no longer revision that these are appropriate size fish. Is that what you're saying at the PG market?
We still have people that sell fish, small fishes, small fish.
Okay, that's a problem. Yeah, that's definitely a problem.
We want that they start enforce the law to gut the fish.
Okay.
And once again, a big Garifuna Survival Day to each and every Garifuna individual in the
Thank you, sir, and same to you.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Margaret,
Yeah,
this is something of what you were talking about.
Right.
There was a time we wouldn't bring in smart fish.
That's for sure.
Right? And I love the fact that you talked about your father would see 3 days.
Yes.
I know you use them for talking
No.
practice.
Yeah, right.
I only want to kill where
The
I
one
want to eat.
right.
Yes.
And those have to survive.
Right.
We had a culture which came to us, it was European, of shooting an animal not to eat, but to carry head back
Exhibition.
as a trophy.
Yeah.
So all of these violation of conservation really did not start with us. We were always indigenously and by instinct conservative.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you brought that out, because some people now go shoot thing and left it in the bush. And we can't do that,
Right.
man. We
Yes.
can't do that, you know.
And that is a great point. And let me just add to that and add to what the caller was saying. What we have is an open fishery. There is no limitation on what you can catch. There is no cap on the fishery per se.
Interesting.
And we have been, and one of part of the code of conduct is that we need to have an apprentice program for new entrants into the fishery.
Right.
There's no one teaching these guys. The older heads, they are beginning to leave the fishery. There's no one teaching these guys who are entering into the fishery
Sustainable practices.
the sustainable practices.
Right.
So, and because we have an open access fishery, now you have people just coming in, and that's why there's this huge problem, not only in PG, across the country, whereby you're seeing there are just small fishes coming in.
Right.
There's this program that we're hoping that once the call for action get adopted, it will strengthen what we're saying about having an apprentice program in bringing in people into the fishery.
It's very important.
It's very, very
It is
important.
very important, but also to, I think, not just apprenticing, which of course that needed, but also if we could have it in schools, right? Like if you could have this information in school, because we don't know who that at school right now want to be a fisher folk in the future, right? So it's very important that we have these conversations in the school, we have these conversations, because these children, they go home to their parents. Right, so when mommy or auntie or that go to market, when it's in a small fish, they're like remembering all these conversations that they have with the kids that they've had or they've experienced at school.
I've seen some fisher folks up in Sartaneja, for example, who are saying something very similar, that the younger generation is not going towards carrying on fishing, simply because of a number of the issues that you're bringing up here. We're not conserving, we're not teaching, and so they're seeing a BPO, for example.
Okay.
Yes, I will go and try and get my job now, call center, rather than see that there's a great wealth in going back to the sea.
Right. Well, I would hit on the issue of sustainability. If you categorize where Belize is in terms of its development, I believe that the World Bank has categorized Belize as an emerging developing nation.
Okay.
If issues related to sustainability in various forums were a function of wealth, Belize would have been a wealthy country. To every forum you go to, you get all of this rhetoric about sustainable development. For me, the 3 pillars are the economic pillar of sustainability, the social pillar, and of course the ecological pillar.
Right.
What Belize is strong in is the ecological pillar of sustainability. What we are not strong in is the social pillar of sustainability. Thus, for example, the last time we looked at poverty among fishing communities in the region, it was a multidimensional study on poverty. So it looked at income, it looked at educational background, it looked at living conditions. In Belize, for example, the study found that there were 3 or 4 generations living under the same roof in very small houses, cramped situation. And so what that study found is that Belize was the second to the poorest country in the Caribbean. The second to the poorest. I found that as a shocker because
that is a shock.
when I came up, you know, and I was going to school, to Belize Technical College, we always used to comment on the fact that you see these Kikaka fishermen that were barefoot and without shirt, but these guys had more money than us. So, you know, I grew up with the idea that fishers are really rich. You know, they just have their own lifestyle. But when that study was done, it showed that Belize was in bad shape.
Very bad shape.
The issue that I feel is that we have slid backwards. It has been an issue of regression.
Right.
But nobody is tracking what is happening with the fishers. A number of fishers are being displaced. They are leaving the industry. Right now, for example, one of the co-ops is closing temporarily. What that means is that the fishers belonging to that co-op will not have support in terms of ice, in terms of fuel, etc. And we know of a number of fishers that are now doing construction work to survive. And so the poverty situation is getting worse. And so this call to action, it's not just BFF waving a banner to say, see, we can do this. This needs to be internalized within the policy-making structure. So the Ministry of Blue Economy, Fisheries Department, the government itself needs to sort of join hands and join forces with us to see what it is that we're talking about. This is an urgent situation because I will tell you that two things are happening. Globally, about 3/4 of the fisheries globally, especially what we refer to as small-scale fisheries, fisheries that are not based on big industrial trawlers, based on small-scale operators, simple technology, traditional technology, etc., have failed. 3/4 of them have failed. The Belize fishery is in a very, very bad state. The scientific studies that we have been associated with the Summit Foundation, and when I say we, I mean the BFF, is showing that of 20 species that have been assessed, 18 of them are unsustainable. In terms of lobsters.
We want to hold a pin right there because audience, we need this information. We need this information, but we do need this ad break. So we will take this ad break, but please stay with us because we really need to get this out. We need to get this information out. So we'll take a break now.
Earn B-Bucks and get a chance to win a $10,000 homecation with Benny's. Quality and savings.
For 19 years, SMART has been the pulse of our nation. A journey of growth, innovation, resilience, and unity.
From the first call that bridged distances to the data that brought us closer than ever, SMART has been there, weaving threads of connection across our beautiful land.
We have been active in providing innovative solutions to enhance our customers' lifestyles. Over the years, SMART has developed and provided various services to meet customers' needs.
To the dreamers, doers, and the believers, thank you for making SMART a part of your story. For 19 years of trust, loyalty, partnership, and shared experiences.
As we celebrate 19 years of connecting lives and dreams, let's keep the rhythm alive. Together, let's continue to shape our future one connection at a time.
Come and be a part of the SMART family, where we empower you and our country today, tomorrow, and beyond.
SMART, bringing people together.
My Social Security. Your direct online access to all your Social Security information. 360 view of all your Social Security information. Registration services, benefits, contributions, and employer services at your fingertips. Enjoy all the new features with your My Social Security account. Register with SSB. submission of benefit claims, submission of contribution statements, view contribution record. Enjoy all your My Social Security feature at ssbportal.org.bz. Social Security at your fingertips.
Atla Express es un servicio que te permite realizar transacciones financieras cómodamente en comercios cerca de ti. Con Atla Express puedes retirar efectivo, realizar pagos de facturas y tarjeta de crédito, comprar recargas y transferir entre tus cuentas. Solo necesitas una identificación válida y tu tarjeta de débito Visa de Atlantic Bank. Si no eres cliente de Atlantic Bank, siempre puedes disfrutar de este servicio pagando en efectivo. Atla Express es fácil, conveniente, seguro y está cerca de ti.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Belize, are you ready
right, back to XTV. That's still Friday, 12th of April 2024, and we are here with the Belize Federation of Fishers, Nigel Martinez and George Maivit, myself, Katie Numiasha, and Nur Mohammed. And we just here before the break, we get what? 2 out of 20?
2 out of 20.
Grade that no one feeling to teach, I
yeah,
feeling grade.
In
Is
the
that a major feeling grade?
Major.
Wow.
In the World Cambridge scheme that we had, you had A, B, C, D, E,
and then
F. F down to 30.
Right.
If you get under 10, that's you. It's unqualified.
Whoa! So as in to say we're not even fail, we're not even qualified.
Unqualified.
Wow.
But essentially what it means, what the study has found, is that it's not only that fishers are catching less. It is that what they're taking are the immature stocks. It's the juvenile stocks.
Which is dangerous,
which
as you have
means,
explained to us in calls. And
you see, which means that they have not had a chance to reproduce.
Right.
If no reproduction is taking place, it's a downward spiral.
Right.
You see, so biologically, it's
George,
not a good place to be.
To what extent, and this has to do also with undersized lobster and conch, that these restaurants, where take anything, have increased the
window
it's opened the door for these fishers who are just trying to make it.
Yes.
And the cost of living is up there. So therefore, if I could slip the fisheries people and be able to sell, I don't want to tell the ethnic group that buys this stuff, because the tourism up in these areas, they also buy these undersized products.
Right.
Shouldn't regulation also be there, and, rather than just penalizing the fishers?
Well, the regulation is there. The issue is the enforcement of
That's
it.
what I'm referring to.
That is more critical.
Yeah, but I don't hear restaurants and others being charged as much as I hear fishers.
The fishers, they're being charged too. But the issue with the undersized, the critical issue is that under the shellfishes are regulated in terms of size. And just a few of the fin fishes, there are two sets.
Yeah. Right.
Your shellfishes are your crab, your lobster, your conch, a shell.
So those have regulations.
Those have regulations. Fishes such as the only fin fish that has regulation is the grouper, the Nassau grouper.
Yes,
it's about 350 species of groupers, but this
Just
particular one has size limit.
Right.
But all the rest, you go to Vernon Street, and you see yellowtail snapper like this.
Yeah.
There are no regulations for those. And the issue there is twofold. You're catching the juveniles, one, but two, in extractive animal exploitation. One of the things that happens is that when a fishery is young, in this case, you're catching all the big ones. So in the past, a lot of our seniors, ancestors who have moved on, they had the luxury of not having a scarcity of resources. So they could have selected yellowtail. Now this one too small, so you throw that back.
Right.
But now the issue is, back in the day when I went into fisheries in 1987, we had about 800 to 1,000 fishers. Right now, it's as much as 4,200 licensed fishers. So the fishing population has tripled, one, and two, a part of the Blue Bond deal, for example, has been that they are reserving additional space. So the cake is not only being sliced thinner, the cake itself is shrinking.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a formula for disaster going forward. One of the gravest issues in terms of injury to fishery sustainability is what is referred to as an open access fishery. There is no limit on the amount of fishers in there. It's obviously would be a political dynamite, but that's for the politicians to deal with.
Right.
But technically it needs to be done. It's a function of how you do it and where you do it and when you do it.
I would like you to address this issue of what exactly are you expecting Minister Perez and his administration to do to correct this matter of having been left out of the whole idea of the Blue Band, which to my mind is hard to conceive how you would be setting up something and leaving out such a vital part of people who make it happen.
That's why we had said categorically could either be, it could be one out of two things. It could be either intentional, or it could be those who are advising him had misinformed.
Right, or as an oversight.
Or an oversight. But
because they're non-officials.
Correct.
Part of the problem as well.
Part of the problem as well. When we present our press releases, it's to bring awareness, it's to bring knowledge, it's to educate the public, it's to educate our fisher folks. We are saying to the ministry, to the government, there needs to be a paradigm shift. It cannot be this top-down approach. We have to have inclusive governance. The fishers have to be at the table.
Clearly.
We are one of the biggest stakeholders within occupying the marine space.
You are the stakeholder of the marine space. If
Exactly.
we're keeping it 100, if that would talk, that would talk.
Yeah, it's not about tourism.
And that's why I think I like the conversation that happen at the Belize Federation of Fishers, because y'all are not top down.
Correct.
When I read the articles
Correct.
that consistently appear in the Amandala, the Friday issue, it is that, you know, we the consult our fisher folk.
Correct.
Actually, to come on this very show,
Yes.
you tell me I have to talk to the guys first, and then I'm
Yes.
going to tell you when will they come on.
Correct.
And so you are asking our government
true.
that, listen, you can't do things in the name of people without having the kind of consultative processes, especially when, to your point, Brother Nuri, and to your point, Brother Nigel, indeed, the people making policies for fisher folk are not fisher folk.
Yeah.
So right away, let us not really understand what the deal, and for that reason alone, we need to consult so that we can find out what needs to happen, what are the needs, what kind of access, what kind of support. But also to, by all means, as you do work on policy, you need to let us know what it is you're doing out there, because it will affect all of us.
Yeah, I was talking to some people yesterday, not Belizeans, from the Caribbean community, UWI people. And one of the points that they were making, and the problem that we have in Belize is very similar around the region. We have too many technocrats that are making policies. They're not on the ground. And when they say they consult you, they go talk to you, talk to you, talk to you. And then they say, we have consulted.
Right.
But they are technocrats. Never been in the sea, never been out in a fish, never gone under the water, but they could write papers because they write to other technocrats who get the money here. So, I mean, it's a sickening process that continues to affect us, not only in fishing, but in many of these other sectors of our society. You know, come off of your high towers and get down with the fishers and understand and be able to include them as a part of the governance process, since we say that we're trying to be all inclusive.
You know, one second, George. You know, the ministry have identified one of the major threats is overfishing.
Okay.
But have done nothing to address it.
So you make your wonder, no? What's the agenda? What's the plan?
What is the plan? Now, we have sent out these documents to them. We have not received any correspondence.
When you send it out?
We sent this over the weekend. I think it was.
So they had a whole week to answer you.
Yeah.
No, but you have a whole week for answer.
Yeah, and we have not received any response.
So if anyone,
but we're not going to give up.
Right,
we're
right,
going
right,
to
right,
continue to push this, because, as we're saying, there needs to be an inclusive governance.
Right.
Cannot continue like this. The science have indicated to us, if we continue to do business as we're doing it right now, the status will crash.
The 2 out of 20. Where we're currently at, the ungradable.
Well, Katie, in terms of the call for action, and I want Nigel to help me here, we have two things in there that should resonate with the fishing community, that is saying to policymakers, listen up. The government of Belize, to their credit, has gone out and they have access, I believe, $50 million to assist cane farmers. It's a climate change related issue.
Correct.
Right.
And part of the call to action for fishers, Nigel, is a revolving fund
of $30 million.
$30 million and
an endowment.
And an endowment fund. Can you speak on that, Nigel?
Right,
because
right.
you're
So,
more informed
yes.
than that.
So we're asking the government for an endowment for $50 million to set aside for climate resiliency projects. So when there's storms and hurricane and stuff that affect fisher
coral
folks,
bleaching,
coral
all of
bleach,
this,
destroy these guys' camp, destroy these guys' boat, their equipment, there is access to funds to assist them because they're providing food security for the country.
And we do have a food security minister, by the way.
And if you can recall the last hurricane in 2022 that mashed up Belize and some of the fishing camps and fishing equipment, these guys have not received a penny to date. And now...
So that has been 2 years.
Yes. And they went out, they told us, wait, we're working on the funds. They went out, they got this loan from IDB for $7 million that they're implementing right now. And now they turn around and told the fishers, because there's a component in there for the fishers, we won't be able to help you this year until next year. So the hurricane happened in 2022, and they're not going to get any kind of assistance until 2025. Which doesn't make any sense any at all.
So what do I do in 3 years?
That's the question. That's the question, and it increased the poverty. The other aligning to that, we're asking the government to set aside a $30 million revolving fund at a concessionary rate with guys that have the accessibility to with little bit terms and conditions that are accessible to the fishers. Because what we're seeing right now, Katie, there's a lot of guys that want to transition. They don't have the means to transition because the rates at the commercial bank are extremely high. But when you're telling a fisher folks, you're receiving this money as grants, and then you're asking them to access it through a loan mechanism at 7 to 12.5%, it's unbelievable.
That in itself is unsustainable.
You know, I read an article not too long ago, a few months ago, in the Jamaica Gleaner about the fact that when we complain about these various government agencies, we use generic terms and we're not using the name. And that if you don't shame some of these individuals and say, well, I don't want to mention my name on this thing, you will not, because you save them when you say this area and that area without mentioning name. Now you could say, I don't want to call no name because I'm afraid that of a lawsuit, etc., etc.
Yes.
But this article was pointing, and this is the Jamaica experience.
Yes.
When you call name,
yes.
when you call specific ministry, when you call specific individuals in those ministries, you get less complaints against those ministries because they realize, I better do something or else my name will be called on the public forum. And then I'll sue you. Let
me call 3 names.
Yes.
Paneleros Argus, Strombus Gigas, Homo sapiens sapiens.
Oh Lord, you got
Paneleros Argus, the lobster.
Yes.
Strombus Gigas, that comes.
I
at close seasons,
no, but the last
size limits, etc. So the system itself responds to those. What the system is not responding to is Homo sapiens sapien, human beings. And so we're saying that there's this response to try and conserve these species, but what about the humans that are suffering? That is what we're saying.
But the humans got my name, and that's the way it is.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's all about Homo sapiens sapiens.
What happens when we talk general and when we talk specific, but what I really want to thank the Belize Federation of Fishers is that you have consistently given us the stats, the accurate statistics of the magnitude of the problem. And also to, just come with problems, you come with solutions. So I want to congratulate you, Belize Federation of Fishers, on this call to the call of action, but also to on the code of conduct, very specific. Unfortunately, we're out of time for this morning's conversation, but I hope that the Federation understand that you're always welcome to come, and I really do want to pick up on this. I want to know what comes from this. I want to know what is the government response. So I'm asking the government to please reach out to the Belize Federation of Fishers. On the track record with the Belize Federation of Fishers and fisher folk in general, it's very sketchy. We need to work on that. We need to fix this relationship. It's injured and it needs to be fixed. And so I want to invite you back at any time to make a continuous conversation. This is huge.
And be willing when you come back to name some names, because we will make people slide. You understand me? And the majority of people will slide because we're having the same highfalutin conversations.
Yes.
It's very educational for those who are interested. But when you call name, I'm just telling you, I'll try to cite that Jamaican, that Gleaner article and maybe put it on the website. We need to understand that within this region, a lot of people are getting away because they don't even know that we talk about he. And he is sitting there watching this thing, and maybe sending a little picture, and that's it. And in that process, all people at the bottom, and you've given us the stats today, are in fact suffering. Good. We should not allow that to take place and continue.
We have to have this conversation continue, but for now we will take this final break. So thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. It has been very educational.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you as
Nigel.
well.
Thanks for it.
It has been our pleasure. Indeed.
Where you get your prescription? What are the best place we go?
Freetown Drugstore.
Bam City.
When the drugstore then close up the night and on Sunday and holidays, which one open?
Freetown Drugstore.
Bam City.
When you need somebody to talk to about your medication, who you are turn to?
Bam City.
We have been serving the general public for more than 30 years with fast, professional, and efficient services. We will continue doing so with honesty, integrity, and consistency.
This is the loyal Freetown Drugstore crew, always happily serving the general public at 28 Freetown Road, Belize City. Telephone 223-2876.
Prepare for the heat and stay cool with a Reamer Grey air conditioning unit from Benny's. Choose the right BTU unit size for your bedroom or living room and enjoy complete comfort. You can also save money with an inverter unit that is energy efficient. When the heat is on, stay cool and comfortable with an affordable, dependable AC unit from Ream or Gree. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribe areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
All right, thanks so much for being with us. XTV, WB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on this beautiful Friday, 12 April 2024, 9:06 a.m. So we don't really have much time to say much, but I just want to thank everybody I really have to thank my guests for all that insightful conversation. I have to thank the NGC for that beautiful information and culture on Garifna's Survival Day. I almost said Settlement Day, but Garifna's Survival Day. I definitely have to thank my co-host Nouri Mohammed. I need to thank my staff here, my crew, Tony G on the radio or radio simulcast on Creme TV. Alexi Bilal is our MCO this morning. That's how you're able to watch us on XTV. Edson DeBon on the camera, Clifton Lewis. We also had JD because we had to do a whole other thing with audio and video to get you that beautiful performance this morning. So I really, really need to thank my crew. Very significant. I want to make everything happen. I have to thank you, everybody. We watch, listen, stream. Thank you so much. We had a rough week, but you ride it way, and I rate you for that, and I thank you for that. And hopefully we could do it all over again next week. But for now, Belizeans, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone.
Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We had the changes. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will happen like a God blue sky.